now, you've seen Tom Cruise do pretty much anything, so nothing really surprised you. And that includes him jumping off the stadium in the Olympics closing ceremony. Now, you might be wondering, what the hell you got? Why is it all like this? Well, I'm a little bit under the weather. I've been kind of sick for the past 3 days, and I've been quarantining myself in the room, and unfortunately, my setup is not in my room. So, this is what we're going to do. In the interest of that, here are my top 5 Tom Cruise movies in no particular order. Now, don't come for me in the comments. Like I said, there's no particular order. First, we have Edge of Tomorrow, where Tom Cruise kind of steps outside of the Mission Impossible realm and does something amazing. So amazing that they haven't even done a sequel to it. Even though 10 years later, they are still thinking about doing it. Come on, Tom. We're going to need that sequel. Any movie from the Mission Impossible series. In my opinion, they're all really good. There hasn't really been anyone that kind of missed that much. Next, we have an underrated movie. Highly underrated movie. Collateral. This is really the first time we see Tom Cruise as a villain. And man, does he do a really, really good job at it. Much so you forget that he's Tom Cruise. I mean, if you haven't seen this movie, go ahead and check it out. It is a classic in my opinion. And frankly, it's a very refreshing thing to see Tom Cruise play this kind of role. Then we have Minority Report. Something that I feel is probably one of Tom Cruise's classic movies. One of those movies that really put him on the map. I mean, I think that he was probably in his prime when he was doing these movies. I also feel like a lot of people didn't really respect the movie at the time it came out. But if you go back and you look at it now, you're like, man, that's a dope-ass movie. So much so that they actually came out with movies that were very, very similar to this premise. What more can you say? When something's good, people want to repeat it. Before we get to my last choice, I have a bonus for you. And that bonus is something that I was kind of debating with because I feel like it's not just a Tom Cruise movie, because all the actors involved really gave their top-notch performance in them. And it's so hard to say that Tom Cruise is the outlier in this. And that movie is A Few Good Men. While the movie is classic and honestly one of the best movies of its type, I feel like Jack Nicholson is really more synonymous with the movie because of the famous line, "You can't handle the truth."
You want answers! I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
Although it was a really good back and forth between him and Tom in the scene, people really only remember that line. And frankly, that's why I can't call it a Tom Cruise movie. Between Jack Nicholson, Tom Cruise, and Demi Moore, the whole cast was goated. And at that time, they were all in their prime. Lastly, we have the Top Gun series. Top Gun series is really where I first got my first glimpse at Tom Cruise. He was in Jerry Maguire, but it wasn't the Tom Cruise that we saw in Top Gun. I remember watching that movie on Laserdisc and just being blown away by the sounds and the atmosphere and the acting, and it was just good old-fashioned craziness. And the remake, in my opinion, was amazing as well. So that being said, those are my top Tom Cruise movies of all time. If you like those movies, or if you have one that did not make the list, leave a comment down below and let's talk about it. That being said, I hope I feel better, and I'll check you guys on the next video. Peace.